And then if you guys feel free.
Welcome home. This is the Residency Podcast. I am Jeff Tomasic with Drew Belcher and Lo Raven, bringing you the biggest guests and stories in entertainment, business, pop culture, and sports from our studio on the Las Vegas Strip inside Mandalay Bay. Make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You know the drill. This episode is brought to you by Mandalay Bay. Mark the weekend of March 5th on your calendar as the dates you have to come to Vegas. There's just too much happening here to not make the trip. UFC 272 will be at T-Mobile Arena with Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington as the main event, and you'll be able to see all of your favorite NASCAR drivers in action at the Speedway, which is sick, by the way. NASCAR.
I'm not a NASCAR guy, to be
I know,
honest.
but like live NASCAR is amazing.
Have you been?
Yeah, it's sick.
Have you been?
It's sick.
Never been.
All right, we need NASCAR. Plus, Silk Sonic, the super duo, Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak kick off their residency at Dolby Live Theater at Park MGM. Make sure you go grab some tickets. As always, come say what's up at our studio inside the Mandalay Bay Sportsbook. Let's go. Let's go. We got another great guest in the building today. Essentially, a caveat of the show now at this point is to have incredible hair. That's the first line item.
Really good looking.
You cannot come on unless you have great hair. We have banker turned entrepreneur, wildly successful podcast host, reality TV star, and now author, Jason Tartick. Welcome to the show, man.
It is so good to be here, Las Vegas, MGM, Mandalay Bay.
Let's
Thanks
go.
for having me, guys. That's fun.
go.
I got my first drink in Vegas right here with
Cheers
the boys.
to this. Welcome.
Cheers.
Welcome.
Salud. Cheers.
It's great to get someone on the very beginning of their trip. So we've, over the course of our show, we've had people like already been through the day a little bit. We also have had the full hangover the next day moment. We've had everyone.
It gets rough.
This
It
is
gets
fresh.
pretty rough.
You're
Here we
fresh
go.
off the plane. You're looking glowing. Yeah.
Wait till Sunday night.
Yeah, we're gonna need a selfie each time a day for the next 3 days. See what you look like by Monday. What's the plans, by the way? This comes out after a Super Bowl, so when you're hearing this, we'll already have results. But you're here for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Hang out.
Oh, yeah.
Watch the
We're
game.
here for the Super Bowl. We have a few meetings, too,
Okay.
which is nice. So we got business and pleasure, the best place to do it. We're golfing a little bit tomorrow, too. So we're intertwining the fun and the work.
I like
Story
it.
of our lives.
Are you guys
good?
good at golf?
We got one good golfer in the group.
Okay.
It's not me.
It's not you? I'm fucking trash. I'm absolute fucking
I do have a hole-in-one,
trash.
though. I do
Shut
have a
up.
hole-in-one.
A real one?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get it on video?
I got it on. Well, no, I got the guys got the reaction. We had caddies too.
Okay.
So
Oh,
the
shit.
caddies
Okay, so
got
yeah,
it.
you have proof.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Proof
cool.
validation.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's like,
Validation.
oh, dude, I had a hole in one. Okay,
Where?
did you get it on video? No.
Where?
It was in Nashville.
He goes mini golf course. This
Yeah,
sick
yeah,
ass
yeah,
mini
yeah.
golf course.
Fucking putt-putt.
Yeah.
It was at the Troubadour. It's a Discovery property. And actually, if you,
Oh,
if you know
that's a great
Jim-
spot. That's a great spot.
Yeah, you know what? Crazy story about it. So Jim Crane, former PGA player.
Yep.
So he actually, I had never seen a hole-in-one in my life. On 6, he got a hole-in-one. Okay. So I've never seen it. We're going nuts.
Yeah.
He's going nuts.
Yeah.
That's his 12th hole-in-one of his life. And on 11, I got a hole-in-one. So he has never in his life, he's like in his 40s. He's been on tour for 15, 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
He has never seen a round where 2 people have got a hole-in-one. So he gave me his ball, he gave me his flag, signed the card, got it all framed, and this property's off. So you can't play there unless you're a member there, unless you have property there. Jim's has
Discovery's
property
the
there.
shit.
Discovery, right?
We have
You
one
know,
here
yeah.
in Vegas
Yeah.
called Summit.
So
Yeah.
you guys, okay.
Yeah.
So they come on 12, it was like 12 or 13. They bring a bottle of champagne and the flags, and they gave it to us. It was like
Come
the
on.
best place ever to get a hole-in-one.
Come on, he has to probably think that you're a ringer because you obviously like, oh, I'm not that good at golf, like whatever, too. Smashes a hole in one. This guy's a liar, man. Unbelievable. It's like, oh, yeah, it's 5K a hole. It's like, oh, whatever. It's not a big deal. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Now we know. Now we know.
There you go. Catch
Super
it out.
average. Only had one hole in one this year.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
never
rough.
even came close.
I like it. Are you a big Vegas guy?
You know what? I enjoy Vegas. I
Okay.
was growing up, what I would do is I was a big poker player, and I would have poker games at my house, like at my parents' house. We'd run tournaments. We'd take a little off the top. I mean, we were doing this at a young age, and I used to always watch like WSOP, and I was like big
Okay.
into it. So I was always a dream to come to Vegas. So my 21st birthday, my parents brought me here. My parents, of all people, my freaking
Great parents.
right?
Yeah, parents.
Yeah.
And so since then, I try to come back here and there as often as I can. You got to love it. The energy's great. So much to do. Good food, good people. It's beautiful.
We saw a little sports gambling content on your Instagram. You play a lot of sports here?
Huge on sports gambling.
Okay.
Big sports gambling guy, yeah. I actually cover some bets of the week with an app called Bet Rivers, which is fun. So I make my predictions for
We'll have to
for
bleep
the
that
Super
out. We'll
Bowl
have to bleep
are-
that out of this episode.
That's a competitor. Take him out.
Do you have any big wins or losses?
I mean, I've had some heartbreaking wins, some heartbreaking losses, but this year I'm like 65 to 70%. No, it's like 65 to 70% win rate.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's good. I don't bet high quantity. I don't bet a lot. I bet high quantity, not a lot of high games.
Okay.
So I'll pick 1 or 2 games a week. I'll put a good amount of units on those games, and that's it. Unlike some of my buddies here who will literally, it's like a roulette board. They'll have like every single number covered. Well, one of them's a good roulette player. The other guy, he'll cover every single number.
That's a
It's like,
strategy.
dude, you can't win. Like,
no, you're not gonna win.
You're only
Yeah.
going to screenshot me your fucking wins, but you can't win when you literally put every.
But
Sure.
you did it 15 times to get that W,
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Just need, all you need is one. I've done 4 sports gambling bets in my life, and I lost all 4.
Really?
That's it, yeah.
You've done 4.
That's
You've
really
I've only done 4,
in your life.
and I'm 34.
See,
I'm an
that's
adult,
a guy
you know?
from
Yeah.
born and raised in Vegas.
Born and raised in
'cause you've
Vegas. I've
seen
only
so
done
many
4.
degenerates just go broke here.
And
Like,
I
I'm not
lost
doing
them
it.
all. Yeah, I can't say the same. I've had it. So the biggest, my evolution in sports gambling was when you really actually had to take out cash, go drive from your house to the casino if you live here, right?
Sure.
Pay them the money. And you had a lot of time to think about if that was the right bet or not.
Yep.
Then they came out with the apps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And now you just come up with a stupid idea and you had for sure, and in 3 seconds you have a bet put in. You're like, damn, 5 and 6. That was, I don't know if that was the right one.
And it's like it's not real money. It's just,
not
it's
real
just an
money.
amount,
It's
you know?
just
It's
digital.
yeah.
What's irritating about the apps, though, is now on Twitter and Instagram, what they do is they always post those ridiculous parlays. That someone
Sure.
puts like $100, $200 down and wins like 125 grand. And just when you're like, I'm done with sports betting, boom, you see that, you're like, all right, if that asshole could do it, I could do it.
That's every meme
Here's
coin.
$125.
That's
Take
why
it.
everyone does a meme coin investment.
Yeah,
Like that too. It's like,
exactly.
oh my god, this guy made $1 million X last week. Cool. He's 18 years old. Why not? Or 22 years old. Let's go. That's
Yep.
the same thing. Everyone's
Exactly.
like, oh hey, it's a 16 leg parlay.
Yeah.
14 different sports.
Yeah.
Hit them all.
100%.
$5 wins $3 million or something ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Look, we love it. So I mean, that's why we play.
That's right.
Are you? Who are you betting this weekend? Well,
So
when this comes out, by the way, they're gonna know if you're
We'll
right or
already
wrong.
know.
Oh, so this will be out.
This will be-
so
this will
here's
already
my
come out.
prediction. We're making this before the show.
Yeah.
I'm going to go against the trend. So since 2010, the underdog is 5-1. Okay, when there's been a 3-point spread or more, the underdog to win the game straight up has been 5-1, and that loss was when Atlanta was up 28-3. So everything would say in that statistic, put it on Cincinnati. I'm saying there's no way that O-line is going to hold up against the LA defense. There's no way. LA is going to cover. LA is going to win. You heard it here first.
All right.
Well, I'm going to say the Bengals are going to win. I'll never bet against Joey Burr.
Yeah, dude. He's got the swag factor.
But
Swag
Joey
factor's in
Burrow,
there.
when he showed up to, by the way, I was going to bet against them, and then I saw his outfit last game.
You can't bet against that.
Because if that guy goes into Kansas City with that outfit and gets his ass kicked, you're never, like,
He's got the
you are
juju.
going to be, like,
He's got the
buried
juju,
online.
man. He's got the
Buried.
juju.
But let me ask you guys a question. Do you think Joe Burrow won that game, or do you think Patrick Mahomes lost that game?
I think that you could put a lot of heroics in Patrick Mahomes' corner. So I think sometimes just the heroics ran out, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think some things fell Joe Burrow's way, like, but at the end of the day, by the way, Kansas City got the coin toss.
They got the coin
So-
toss, and the Kansas City only scored 3 points in the third quarter,
Yeah.
fourth quarter, and overtime. 3 points. I think that's
Fell
on
off.
Kansas City.
Yeah, I think Mahomes lost that game, but still.
We'll see.
Joe Burrow.
We'll see right now.
You kind of got some Joe
This is
Burrow
not
swag.
financial advice, by the way.
Yeah. We'll know right now. I mean, once this come out, everyone will know. But God, one's an idiot and one's really smart.
Yeah.
Well,
Or vice
that's
versa.
it. It's 50-50 shot right now.
That Jason Tartick guy's an idiot.
Yeah. Rams. What is
Rams, what a sucker.
All right. Do you consider yourself a financial influencer?
I guess you would say that. I mean,
Okay.
so I built the social media following from going on The Bachelor.
Right.
Took a wild detour. I got my MBA. I was a corporate banker for 10 years. Then I went on a reality television show, such a 2022 thing to say. And then the platform was all built from being on reality TV, but I've really focused on the business, career navigation, personal financial wellness. So yes, I am a business influencer. I'm also like, an influencer in other things, I guess.
Okay.
But I also own a talent agency, and I own a podcast, and I now have a book coming out. So I think the word entrepreneur is so overused, but I like to say, I'm a business owner. I own a bunch of businesses.
That's fair enough. Then.
You know?
You're not categoried just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say, if you look at my P&L, where income's coming from, a lot of it's coming from influencing. So
Sure. Okay.
to say the word influencing is a very fair statement.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, we'll take that.
And also, the term like entrepreneur still isn't widely accepted. Like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, oh, okay, so what do you do?
Yeah, but what do you think influencer is, right? I go to, like, if I go back home and like influencer, it's like barf. That's
Cool
ugly.
story, bro.
Sweet,
Yeah.
dude. You're fucking influence. You're a loser. Is what
It's
you
tough to
are.
say as a guy, especially.
But that's what kind of incentivized me to like do the podcast Trading Secrets, where we talk about money. Because I would, the buddies would chirp me. They'd be like, "Oh, dude, sweet swipe up," and I'd be like, "You know how much I made on that?"
Yeah,
because they're
right?
they're chirping me, not to brag. But I'm like, "You know how much?" And then I'll tell them. They'll be like, "Holy shit, what is going on in this world? Like, what's happening here?" So
People do lose their mind when they do see that.
when they start to see the numbers, and then guess what? Everyone's like, "All right,
We're out here building content, people.
yeah, I'm gonna start doing content."
I want to swipe up right now.
episodes.
Just swipe
same
up.
buddies
please.
are saying swipe up.
We're 2 years into this. All right, well then, you got an MBA. I went to grad school as well.
Cool.
Do you think going to college and getting an MBA will be completely pointless in 10 or 15 years?
I think it'll be a little bit of obsolete. Like, I think, here's the thing. I mean, if you're going to like a top 5 school, top 10 school, you're going to Ivy League where the network is unbelievable. You're going to get into the big investment banks, the big hedge funds, the big consulting firms that will always be there in some capacity. And they're always going to pick the best and brightest people, just like the NFL does and the NBA does, right? There's going to be that. But if you're not in that top 1% of 1%, there's going to be alternative ways to put yourself ahead, because there's like price elasticity is a big thing, right? So what that is when the price of a good goes up, the demand goes down. But college has created this bubble that when the price goes up, the demand has gone up. And that we're now starting to see to pop, especially with COVID, because people are like, wait a second, I'm sitting my ass at home. I got my mom yelling at me. I'm doing chores and I'm paying 10 grand for this class. This is stupid.
I'm paying the same amount if I was there. Yeah.
Do you see that Yale is completely still remote right now? Still $50,000 a year.
And that's the issue right now.
Yale in your mom's basement.
You go to college for networking.
Right.
I mean, you go to college for networking, and you go for the experience. However, I will say with certain professions, you always need an education. I don't ever want a doctor to operate on me if they
we're
haven't
talking
done
MBA
tech.
here. We're
Yeah,
talking just business.
MBA, right?
You can
Yeah,
go.
for
I think
sure.
in 10 or 15 years, I just had a daughter.
Yep.
When she goes,
Congratulations.
Thank you. When
Yep.
she goes to college, or when she's eligible to go to college in 18 years.
Sure.
I mean, I truly think that most likely it might be a bad investment unless you just need like a buffer for being an adult, which I think is okay, by the way.
Yeah.
I think having 4 years of you learning how to be an adult, because most people aren't ready at 18. Some are ready much earlier now, but some just aren't.
Yeah.
That's okay. But an MBA, like, don't get me wrong, I paid full price for grad school.
Sure.
Going back in time, there wasn't an option to not do that. That was the way to be successful. But now, I don't know.
Do you think that, because I have this theory, now that I'm getting a little older and we're thinking about having kids, Caitlin and I feel as though a lot of parents steer their kids in directions towards college because they steer their kids in direction towards safety, because safety gives them comfort and less anxiety, right? And so I think that's unfortunately the way a lot of us were brought up, and it's a thesis I have, is that we're like brought up into this blueprint that's created by our parents and like the society that we are growing up in. And as a result of that, we end up down these paths that like we're like, wait, how the hell did we get here, right?
well, that's how it's supposed to be, right? That's what you're supposed. But 5 years ago, there was no other option.
Yeah.
8 years ago, 10 years ago, there was no other option when we were going to school, at least. That was what you did. You went. There was no real social media careers.
Yeah.
There was no. You can go to essentially college on YouTube now.
Yep.
Because no one was putting out content like that. Where as of now, right, you could pay X amount of money to probably get the same education if you just talk about the education, not
Yeah.
networking or
Sure,
anything like that.
sure.
Not the experience of
Yeah.
it.
I think those options were there. But
Not as prevalent.
But I just don't think there was accessibility to learn from people that were doing them. Where right now,
Right.
we can go, like you said, TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, put like entrepreneur or side hustle. We could see like 30 things that I had no idea how people make
crazy.
money,
Sure.
right? So accessibility and communication has changed drastically, which I think is one of the reasons it's opened things up.
There's going to be like 5 MBAs. Right? You said, all right. Here you go. Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford.
USC.
All right, USC. You can keep your MBA. Everyone else is out.
Here's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be licenses. So like a license or a certificate, like you are going to go to school or whatever the school is, it's going to be very concentrated and you'll have a very specific niche, right? So maybe it's like I'm making something up here, but maybe it's literally like accounting for social media influencers in the food space. Like it's going to be like these small licenses, like a CPA or a CFA. It's not going to be like an education, but I don't know. That's
No,
just
I love that. I wish they did teach that because you can make some serious money on social media. And the old previous societal stigma was, hey, you go out, go to college, get good grades, go out, get an internship, get a good job, go work for someone else, start your 401k. Now it's like, dude, fuck that.
By the time my daughter is about to go to college, she's going to be able to just put a computer chip in her brain, fly her electric car to wherever she wants to go. Elon Musk will have already given her all the education she needs for like $14.99 a month.
Yeah.
no need for parenting.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be
Zero.
partying at Mandalay all night.
It's crazy the evolution already that I've seen in like my adult life.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, like you considering kids and me just having one, he just had a kid as well.
That's awesome.
And you start looking at these things through a different lens, wondering. I mean, we have no idea where things are going to predict and end up.
Totally.
Right? You know, we're not even that far into the social media world, even though it seems like it's been forever. Like when we were in college, Facebook was out, like coming out.
Yeah, I also feel like kids growing up, when we were growing up and going to college, like it was cool to be like, oh, I'm getting my degree in finance, which I got my degree in finance, and I don't use that degree now.
Totally.
But it was like, oh, I'm going to go get an MBA. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's like if the goal now in the future is to make money, there's so many different routes and different options to take if the goal is to strictly make money. Now,
sure.
if you want to go and be a doctor, like you said, or a lawyer,
right.
you have to go to grad school.
We're not saying that, by
go
the way.
get that. Yeah, not financial
We're not
advice.
saying you can be a
For the
doctor
record.
by
me
any
too.
fucking means.
At all.
But if like the goal is to make money, there's so many affordable routes to just take right out of high school.
For sure. 100%.
Or just
I
be
agree.
like less than $300,000.
Yeah, or just start a TikTok and
Yeah.
make some
right?
food videos. You know?
Yeah. It's crazy to see these like young financial influencers now who are like 16 years old giving financial advice.
The crypto advice.
Yeah,
Sketch,
like,
dude.
it's
Sketch.
It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, but like everything, you got to like due diligence, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I had a guy that's an entrepreneur. I really respect this guy. Super smart. He's just not financially savvy. And he's like, hey, man, I just got pitched. This person was like, okay, if you give me X amount of dollars, I will guarantee you this certain percentage in return off cryptocurrency. And I said to him, I was like, and? He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing it. What do you think? I was like, dude, I had so much credibility before the last 20 seconds of this call for you.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? So you got to do your due diligence because there's a lot of nonsense out there.
Of course, like we were talking about earlier, there's always sometimes the home runs that are too good to be true, you want them to be true so bad.
And they're not.
And they're not.
There's no such thing as a guaranteed home run.
Hey, if you
Doesn't
give me
happen.
$1,000, I can almost guarantee you.
Yeah, bullshit.
You're going to lose it.
Yeah, it's gone.
All right, well, you've interviewed so many successful people on your podcast, Trading Secrets. Have you got any financial advice from them off the camera that's been a big win for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest win off camera has been, so we talked a little bit about this before we even jumped on.
Yeah.
For people that are listening, is vertical integration. So anyone that's out there, if you think about like businesses you have, or maybe your full-time job, how can you maybe integrate something, some resource that can contribute to something else you could be doing, right? So the podcast, we get to meet with these big people, right?
Right.
Like Kevin O'Leary, Gary Vaynerchuk, we got A-Rod
Crazy
coming
guests.
on, right? It's crazy guests. So we thought about what can we do to like not only build a relationship but also monetize that. And so since I have this influencing background, I quickly learned, as we just talked about, a lot of non-BS stuff. There's a lot of agents out there in this influencing world that are taking advantage of people that don't know their ass from their head, right? So suppose I come to you right now, and anyone that's listening, suppose like instantly you blow up overnight because you had a video go viral, and let's say you work for $25 an hour serving at, I don't know, your local bar, and I come to you and say, hey, Bud Light wants to do a sponsored deal with you. They're going to do a deal with you, and they're going to pay you $5,000. You just got to post a picture. You would naturally think $5,000. I'm making $25 an hour. Done.
Yeah.
Little does that person know that I just worked a deal with Bud Light on the back end and got them to pay $30,000, and I'm taking 25 off the top.
Right.
Right. There's this huge gap of information in this space, and so I got kind of taken a few times, and I said, you know what? Why don't I just create an agency in which we're just fully transparent about where the money's made and how it's made. And so when we have guests on, like Kevin O'Leary is a perfect example, my team and I will reach out to his business partner and say, hey, do you have people that are sending you social media deals? We know you got a bunch of deals, but do you have social media deals? They say, actually, for instance, we could use some help with that. And so we've sourced plenty of deals. I won't get into specifics for a guy like Kevin O'Leary.
Right.
And there's many examples of that with guests that we've had on where we've been able to financially monetize in a win-win scenario from the people that join the show.
So you're pretty much taking your guests and being able to do outside business off the show with them. Now, once you get that person-to-person interaction with them and they trust you, you trust them.
Exactly. Right on. Exactly.
We've always talked about this show when everyone asks us about why we do a podcast.
Yep.
Is just if you took this thought process of doing a podcast.
Yep.
Of just finding someone that you maybe know a little bit or don't know, or a friend of a friend that you find interesting in any way possible, entertaining, influential, they have good information, you just want to talk to them, and spoke to them for 1 hour every day without microphones.
Yep.
If you just put that practice in your life, you'd be so much smarter at the end of the year.
100%.
Just take someone out to lunch every day for 1 year, someone that you don't know,
Yep.
and plan a little bit on what you want to say to them and talk to them about, like a little bit of preparation.
Totally.
And do that. If you did that without microphones, I think that's exactly what a podcast is. We just happen to...
And record it.
Yeah, some people decided to listen, unfortunately. That's
It's
their
like
fault,
the people are listening,
Yeah.
they're recording, and it also prompts like deeper conversation because you know that there's someone on the
For
other
sure.
end of this listening. I think, and I've already talked about vertical integration, but for anyone listening out there, the guys you're listening to every week did that already before. I'm big on breaking the vault and like breaking down the like shattering the ceiling so people could see behind the curtains.
Sure.
Before the podcast even started, we even talked about like I have a book I want to sell. You guys work for MGM. Let's do a giveaway on Instagram where the consumer wins by giving them a trip. You guys win by drawing attention to your show. I win by potentially selling books. That's
Circle
you guys
of
are
life.
doing it, right?
Circle
you guys
of
are
life.
doing what I just pitched.
Everybody eats.
Everybody, if
Everybody
wins,
eats.
everyone's
What is that?
happy.
Everyone goes to the bank on the same day?
That's it.
There you go.
Not anymore. But.
There you go. Right. Everyone goes to their app. Everyone goes to their Venmo on the same day.
I haven't been to the bank in so fucking long, by the way.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
By the way, what was A-Rod like in person?
I mean, first of all, you think about like yourself and the energy you bring off. I mean, I don't think I've been in the presence of a guy who has so much exterior energy that he's putting out at, like other than just his body. Like
Sure.
you walk in and you're like the way he carries himself, the way he dresses, everything's meticulous, super nice, super kind, but very thoughtful about every single thing he's doing.
Right.
You know, I got this like throwaway podcast called Trading Secrets, and here's A-Rod, right, who was just engaged to J-Lo, best baseball player to ever live, and he was commenting on the lighting we had set up, making sure that it wasn't washed out because he wanted to make sure the lighting and the angles were perfect. That's a small example of how I think he lives his life. Everything is done to the best of his ability, and everything's meticulous, and he's got this power energy that's really, like, honestly inspiring. It's inspiring.
I think you very rarely see people who are truly great in one thing.
Yeah.
And then he's stepping into like the truly greatness in business. Right? And you don't really necessarily see that too often, right? When someone's great at something,
It's
that's
rare, yeah.
That's their thing forever, right?
Yep.
Rarely do they get to have a second thing and be that great at, which I think he's one of the few people who's actually done that.
The first question I asked him, it's funny you said that, because the first question I asked him, I said, you got about almost 8 billion people in this world, right? And you have achieved outlying success, extreme outlying success in baseball as an athlete. On social media, he's the most followed person that's ever played baseball. He is one of the most still, somehow, in his 40s, mid-40s, one of the most relevant people in
Right.
pop culture.
Yeah.
And he's a business tycoon. He owns A-Rod Corp, which is essentially like a mini hedge fund. Like, how are you 1 in 8 billion? That was my first question to him. Because how do you achieve all that in so many different directions? It's crazy. And yeah, I mean, it's
You're
just
making
nuts.
me feel bad.
I
While
know.
pumping A-Rod up at the
Oh,
same
how do you
time.
think
It's
I
like,
felt? I was like,
we all have the
Jesus.
same 24 hours,
and I've
too. It's
wasted
like,
so
fuck.
many hours in my life. Yeah.
Right? I was like,
Yeah.
nuts. Just nuts.
When you get to meet people like that, there's something about them, an innate ability, detail-oriented, just gifts from birth, all wrapped into like one human being
Totally.
type of situation. I mean,
Yep.
I've never met A-Rod, but now from a business perspective, like I feel like being an athlete, the athlete to sports team owner has to be the coolest evolution on earth.
Come on, absolutely.
Like there might be other ways to make more money and do other things that are impressive or whatever it may be,
Totally.
but to be a professional athlete and then own a Big Four franchise,
Sure.
NBA,
Yep.
NFL,
Yeah,
NHL,
yeah.
MLB, right? It has to be one of those.
100%.
To be an owner of one of those, it has to be the coolest transition.
Of like all time.
Of all time.
Of all time.
There's nothing better than that.
And I think there's a lot of takeaways from that because, like, that's monopoly dollars, right? You're looking at A-Rod, the money's made $500 million in just playing a sport. But you think about what he did is, like, even at that level, one of them, like, you say his name and most people in America will recognize his name, he still would have no shot at buying a team ever by himself, ever. Right? So what did he have to do? Things that people that are listening to this probably have to do every day is you got to find partners and you got to network. And he networked with a guy, Mark Lowry, who was the former CEO of Walmart and a multi-billionaire.
Absolute beast.
It was a good fit. But people, like you think about maybe it's a small grocery store you own. Maybe who knows what it is. Even if you're A-Rod, you still can't do it by yourself.
That's crazy to
right?
think about, yeah.
When you think about that. So how are, someone sitting at home listening to this, like if you're not achieving what you're trying to achieve, why are you not leveraging people that have different skill sets and different networks because you're too good for it? Like, get over your fucking ego. Sorry if you have to bleep that out.
No, we don't.
No, you don't. You can curse
No, we
as much as
don't.
you
You
want.
can curse as much as you want.
And you actually, and A-Rod understanding the value of his money, whatever X dollars that is, right? 250 million, 100 million, whatever it is, versus, let's just say you and I were worth 100 million, which we're not, which I'm not, 99 and a half. No, but like his money's more valuable than my money.
Right. Well,
Right?
because of his
Because
credibility.
when the headline said, it didn't say Mark and A-Rod by the Timberwolves.
Yep.
It said A-Rod
buys the
A-Rod's
Timberwolves.
group bought the Timberwolves, right? And it just goes to show you, right? He leveraged his name with his money versus people who have exorbitant amount of money who want to work with people who have name and relevancy and money. And it just all comes full circle. It's impressive.
Media currency like that. We talked about influencing, like media currency.
Oh, man.
It's not US dollars, but it is a very real currency in 2022. Right?
Absolutely. You have so many influencers teaming up with brands to now become small equity partners or restaurants to become small equity partners. And they have no experience in owning a restaurant or anything how that industry works. But now they have the leverage and the influence to now push out content and whatever they want at all times.
Totally.
It's crazy. You're absolutely
Wild.
right.
It's a wild world.
I mean, I'm just wondering if Drew, Jeff, and Jason could be the first podcasters to buy a sports franchise one day.
There you go. Let's
And then
manifest it.
Reference this clip coming back here 10 years from now. I'm just putting it out there.
Love it.
Putting it out there. A-Rod can't have all the love on this. You know what I mean? If you had to start from scratch today, investing,
Yep.
what moves are you making?
The first thing you're doing, like the first thing anyone should do is look at your debt profile, right? Everyone gets so excited because it's sexy. We already talked about it, like 1,000% returns, all
Right.
this stuff, right? Think about this. Like there are the smartest humans that are living in the planet with the biggest technology behind them, all the computers, the AI, everything. All they're trying to do, the best and brightest with the biggest power, they're just trying to beat the market. That's it. S&P 500 last year did about 28%. So if you're looking at some of these returns like 100%, 1,000%, it is outlying ridiculousness when you look at historical returns. They're just trying to edge out 28% last year, which was a monster year.
Monster year.
So stop thinking about these like, I'm going to get rich quick schemes and start thinking about what's really holding you down. And what holds everybody down is bad debt.
Okay.
So I would say start with making sure that if you have high interest rate debt, you eliminate it, you restructure it, you refinance it,
All right,
get
cool.
your debt together. Once you get your debt together, create a budgeting system that allows you to have greater cash inflow. And when you have greater cash inflow, you'll have excess money to start investing. And what you got to do is you got to know your limitations. And if you have to outsource help with people you trust. But be smart in a market like this because we're seeing so much volatility. There's a big thing called dollar cost averaging. This is 101, right? Very, very 101. But entering the market at different times with consistency at the same dollar amount, like March 1st, April 1st, May 1st. You could buy the same equity or cryptocurrency at a smaller fraction, but you're entering at different times will help with this volatility. So outsource help, do your due diligence, do your research. Most importantly, before you start trying to hit grand slams, really clean up your debt because in America, that's our biggest issue as a whole.
Do you think like the age of obviously this past 2 years has been ridiculous, right? And people have gotten rich for no reason. Robinhood app, the whole 9 yards. Do you think I feel like financial investors should be verified with like a green check? You know what I'm saying? Like this
Instead of a
person,
blue, you get a green one?
Well, this is a real
Yeah.
person who gives real financial advice that's actually truthful. Because I think in this day and age, right, access to information is so incredible. There's so many smart people giving away incredible advice for free for the first time ever, more than ever. But there's also equally amount of people, if not more, giving out trash advice, making money off of it, and no one really knows. And a lot of the people who are giving out bad advice or ill-advised advice are just as believable as someone giving out real advice. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you're an interesting space because you're now giving, I don't say you're giving financial advice, but you're giving financial insight.
Education, I'd say.
Education,
Yeah,
insight and education with a lot of successful people to a lot of people. Like, how do you see that world happening.
Well, I think like if you look at like Web 3.0 right now, it's just peer to peer, right? There are no more
Right.
businesses. So what's interesting about humans in general is as we fall on our face from a macro perspective, like big volume, we learn quickly, we get back up, and we reshift. I'll give you an example that everyone can relate to, because you talk about like getting screwed over. This is nothing new. People trying to scam people's nothing new.
Of course.
Oh, yeah,
The Tinder
never.
swindler is nothing that we haven't seen before.
Sure,
Or
it's great, by the way.
think about the used car sales business back in the day. I mean, those guys in the 60s and 70s, they were completely crushing people and then going behind the doors and celebrating at how bad they just crushed
Right.
someone over the head.
Ruthless.
So what happened? We got smarter. We got brighter. You got to love America for that. Kelly Blue Book's invented. KBB, wait a minute. Now I can benchmark how much my car is worth. That guy can't screw me.
Yeah.
So this isn't anything new. And I think the cool thing about Web 3.0 when you have peer-to-peer is people get smarter, and it's happening at a quicker rate than ever before. So if it sounds too good to be true, get your guard up and I think just have trust within the whole society as a whole that things will be put in place to check people, because when we have checks and balances, it creates efficiency.
You have to, yeah.
Investing FOMO. Just don't have investing FOMO.
Yes.
Never chase it. Never chase
that
it.
just makes you-
Once it runs, it
Yeah.
runs.
It's
Don't chase
gone.
it. It's
Yeah,
gone.
it's
It's
gone.
gone.
Don't have FOMO, man. You'd be very much regrettable. And by the way, can we trademark this my green check idea on,
I like that
on
idea.
air right
Yeah,
now?
can we bring that up
Can I
real
get
quick?
this?
Yeah,
a good
let's
idea
go.
right
That's got to be
Guys, we
done.
got a
That's got to
sports
be
scene
done.
now. We have a whole new social media
Wow.
verification thing.
Changing
this
the
is
world.
probably
Green
one of
check.
the most
And-
successful first 30 minutes of
I
the
think some
podcast.
of them should have to reveal their tax documents. I want to see how much money you actually earned
Ooh,
last
I
year
like
before you
that.
start
Yeah, how
giving
rich
out
are you?
financial
So
advice.
I mean, I have an episode on my podcast is all about like let's talk about money.
Okay,
and how
perfect.
you did. So I have an episode.
We're on the
it's
same page.
End of the year. It's called Jason Tells All. I have one of my best buddies, so it's not some like person who drills me. How much did you make off this? How much did you make off this? And I'm sitting there to the dollar. He's like, okay, Cameo, how much you make? I'm pulling it up. Okay, we did $39,000 off Cameo. How you paid on Cameo? Well, I get 75%, they get 20%. How much you make off your social media? We crushed it. We hit 7 figures this year. Okay, how much did you make off? And we're just talking through the numbers.
Right.
And so my whole thing is that people don't talk about the money they make because we live in this world that if you make too little or too much, it's instantly judged. But the second I tell you about something, the second I tell you where I made money or lost money, there's 8,000 lessons to be learned within that.
Yeah.
And as a society, and that's the whole thesis behind the podcast I have called Trading Secrets, if we could talk about this stuff, we're all better off. Every
Yeah.
one of us is better off. So why are we afraid to talk about where we make money and how much we made and how much we lost? I don't understand.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't know when that happened, right? When it was like a faux pas to say, hey, how much do you make? Or like even within a company,
Yeah.
not knowing what someone else is
Yep,
making and what
totally.
you're making or anything like that. I think as much as you can be transparent. And by the way, I think anyone who talks about finances professionally
Yeah.
should give some insight, and it gives credibility, right? Some people may judge a little bit, but everyone judges you for no reason anyways,
yeah, you're
whatever,
always
screw
judged,
it.
yeah.
But like, hey guys, FYI, I'm giving you this advice because I got smashed a few times.
Sure.
I got screwed a few times.
Right.
I got taken aback a few times, and I tried to fix and help other people now, and now I'm profiting off of it.
Yep.
But here's why, and here's how, and don't go out and be my competitor, or please do. I want everyone to win, but here's how I'm winning and why I'm winning and how much I'm winning.
For sure, 100%. And I think another Jason Tartick thesis here. These guys are like, yeah, this is the idiot that called LA to win, and they got
blown out by Joey
Cincinnati.
B. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, way off.
Well, no, right? Halfway, and people might have just left 10 minutes
Yeah,
ago.
they're
right?
like, this guy has
Yeah.
zero shot. But another
Off.
wild thesis I'll be proved wrong is I think I remember when I was a corporate banker 10 years, if you talked about what you made to your peers, you're slapped on the wrist. How
Right.
dare you? You don't
Sure.
talk about that.
Right.
Why would they do that? The only reason they would do that is because if every single one of my bankers sat in a room and we talked about how much we made, we would now have more information to go negotiate and leverage that
course.
information to get paid more. So I think it's like an HR hierarchy, hush-hush, BS thing that's been instilled down, because if we talk about it, then we have more leverage, and then the people at the top have more work to do.
Sure.
That's my thesis. It could be wrong.
So
No,
you-
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, you feel comfortable sharing with your with your audience that you have, hey guys, this is what I'm making. This is how I'm making it. This is
Totally.
where it's coming from.
For sure. I have to do it, and I expect my guests to do it. Like we had Rob Dyrdek on. Rob Dyrdek, guy from MTV.
We talked about
Dude,
him before the podcast.
What's
Rich.
that?
We talked about him before the
Yeah,
podcast.
did you?
Like I said, we're both parents. Just
Yeah.
as far as being family man, very successful, still really relevant, very
Kills it.
cool. Just a very good embodied person of someone who has kids and wants to be successful in life in general.
Yeah.
Very good I guess, portrait of that.
He is exemplary of that. Like, I don't even know if that's a word. I think I said it wrong. That's the drinks talking. But he is like an ideal person to look up to for that. But when I asked him about how much he made, I was like, how much did MTV pay you? He goes, well, he tells it. They offered me $125K. What I said to them was, how about you don't pay me that, but you give me placement rights, all placement rights for ads. So if I have a vodka in my episode, I can negotiate that. And on top of that, I own this production company. We only do like $50,000 in revenue, but we have the infrastructure. So let's just do like every episode now is produced through my production company. And overnight, he made that $50,000 a year company turn into a $50 million revenue generating company because now they are producing every single episode. And the one thing about
every 10,000 ridiculousness
episodes that are out there. But the reason that was the cool thing about the podcast. You quickly learn the reason there's so much Rob Dyrdek on MTV is because Rob Dyrdek out-negotiated them better than I think I've ever seen anyone out-negotiate any type of media company ever. And they have no choice but to put his content out there because they need to recoup the investment dollars that they spent on it.
Wow.
But back to the Family Man thing, what's interesting is after the podcast, you asked me, like, who have I got to know? He showed me his whole schedule. He has someone that comes in that drives efficiency in his businesses. And long story short, he said, how can you drive efficiency in my life? And so they create this system for him to get objective numbers, how connected he is with his wife every day on a 10th decibel. So she'll say like 6.4, 3.4. And for years and years, he tracks this information. And he starts to see where his happiness, connection with his family, productivity, and work all correlate. And so then he tries to find things in his life that he needs to eliminate to drive the best efficiency, which creates happiness. And so what his conclusion was when he drinks, his productivity, his connection to his wife, his connection to his family, his work ethic is down. So he's like eliminated drinking. When he works out and he does yoga in the morning and meditates, all of those numbers are up. And he has a huge sample size because he's tracked this for years. So now he has this like model of how he can live pure happiness, like the most efficient happiness. So then we talked about his business plan. Said, how far does your business plan go out? I'll ask you guys this. How far do you think his business plan goes out? Quarterly, biannually, annually, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Take a shot.
I mean, I would assume, right? Can you really plan longer than 18 months?
I'd say quarterly.
Yeah.
Quarterly. 500 years.
What?
He has a 500-year plan,
What's that even
right?
mean?
So that's what I say. I go, what are you
What's that
talking
even
about?
mean? Your
He
kids,
said-
kids.
Yeah, we're talking about college. He's talking about living forever.
Live forever.
He's 50
No.
times ahead of us
This
right
is
now.
crazy, though. He has this system built in place that if you are born as a Dyrdek, you will know financially you're in a good place, but most importantly, there's a system to live your happiest life. And so he like literally, this isn't like a thought that he's just talking on a podcast. He has this full plan that's all based on objective numbers and inputs. It's crazy.
Jeff, we fucking suck. We suck.
It's nuts.
You know what? I think like we had talked about when you speak to someone, because it sounds far-fetched, but when you speak to someone and maybe you don't adopt that type of extremeness in your life, but even a small percentage of it, I mean, when you look at somebody, honestly, when I had a kid, I asked a couple older, not to say role models, but older successful people that I saw that were doing really well in business. We're still married. We're still having a great life that I saw. We're still traveling, having a good time, hanging out with their friends, still having fun.
Yep.
And we're still involved in their families with their kids, and still in shape. I'm like, excuse me, I'm drowning right now. I'm 6 months having a kid. I feel like I am on death's door. Tell me I'm obviously not doing this right. What do you got for me? And I think like talking to someone like that, you realize the sheer amount of practice makes perfect, but the type of focus that you can make, that digesting that knowledge, talking to someone is invaluable, right?
Invaluable. And so like I'll be fully honest, I've never saw myself doing this. And now I have a system. I started in December. And there's things I track every single day now because I'm trying to do this.
Well, you're drinking, so now I know your days going to be that. No. Now you know tomorrow's going to be very unproductive.
But I'll tell you this, though. Every single day since mid-December, I will put in the number of drinks I had that day.
Okay? Really?
So I have the inputs I have are how many miles did I run? Did I work out? Did I eat because I'm trying to fast? Did I eat before noon? Did I eat after 9? My connection with my fiance, my productivity for the companies I own, my productivity for my personal brand, my content output, Did I gamble that day, and how many drinks did I have? Those are all my inputs. I've done it every day since mid-December now.
Because
not
of Rob.
7 years, all because of Rob. I would have never done it.
Where do you
without
put
Rob.
them in?
So I'm old school because like with being an analyst and stuff and having banking experience, I'm good with Excel. There's 100% chance I could find an app that would do this for me, but I just do it in my Excel file.
I thought he was saying, I have a whiteboard. You know, it's just,
I have like a little system in my Excel file. Yeah. That's
Wow.
every day. Yep.
do you feel like you've found a little bit more clarity in your routine?
100%. So I do it in 14-day increments. So every 14 days, I'll take the total and I'll start to see. The other thing I'll track is where I'm at, like if I'm because I travel a lot, and I've noticed like I already have some conclusions now. If I'm traveling that day, everything is red. My miles run is red. Everything is shit. If I'm traveling that day, so what can I do the day before to prepare for that? If I am traveling outside of where I live, everything is like yellow. It's not great.
Sure.
If I'm in home base in Nashville, I've noticed like my happiness levels are low, but my productivity is huge. So starting to proactively like find ways to work against it. Also, I notice when my miles run and my workout's lower, my drinks are out of control.
Okay.
Like stupid amounts. So now I'm starting to, this has only been, 2 months of doing this.
Sure.
And I already have enough information to make adjustments in my life, which is why. So like tomorrow and
The Rob
Sunday,
Dyrdek effect.
Dude,
Real,
dude.
like I already have I have a workout plan tomorrow and a workout plan Sunday. I'm in Vegas, I would have never planned those workouts in the morning.
Yeah, no,
if I
ever.
didn't see this information. They're already in the calendar. I know I'm going. I'll be there.
I'm a firm believer of write stuff down. Not to that extent, but maybe I need to up my game. Is that because when I write things down and you track things a bit, you just really start adding, because you can skip one here, skip one there mentally, and you forget about them. And when you write things down and you say, I'm supposed to work out once a day, right, for 30 days.
Sure.
And in your brain, you're like, I missed a few days. I can't remember exactly how many. And then you go in there, you're like, damn, I missed 15 days out of 30, right? What the hell happened? I could have sworn it was 3,
Right.
And I'm a firm believer in that, but man, I might not today, Monday.
Do you have a daily routine that you definitely need to keep up on? Like, do you have to work
No.
out in the morning and run your miles in the morning as soon as you wake
I've
up?
noticed that if I don't do it in the morning, the likelihood of me doing it is much less.
Same with me.
It
with,
goes down.
Yeah, with kids now,
significantly.
as soon as I wake up at
Totally.
5, I go straight to the gym, get that out of the
Smart.
way. Because if I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go in the afternoon. I
It's
got to
over.
spend time with the
100%.
little shithead asshole.
Yeah.
Throwing spaghetti all over the place, and taking his diaper off and pissing all over the couch. I'm not going to the gym
It's
after
like,
that.
give me a drink. I'm going to bed.
When he goes to bed at 7, I'm not going to the gym. I'm going to pour a nice little tequila and hang out.
Exactly.
sure.
I get that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Honestly, like those are the gems. Do you have others from your host that you think that have like really blown you away?
Yeah.
Because that to me right now, I'm like flabbergasted.
So we're going to talk about that when you leave. Trust
Okay,
me.
gotcha.
And we're going to probably implement that in our daily lives as
yeah,
well.
improvement, right? Honestly,
Yeah.
I didn't really think I needed it until I had a kid, and then I feel like now I don't have time for anything. So
Totally.
honestly,
Yeah.
what you're doing right now is helping you so much for whenever you and Caitlin do have kids.
Totally. 100%.
Is you will already have found an equilibrium maybe that you
Right.
think that you're going to need.
Right.
And it's going to be completely out of whack, by the way. Whatever you find
100%.
out is going to be screwed.
Yeah, it's going to have to change.
But you're going to at least know how to get there faster and get back to it faster.
For sure.
And I think that's now probably where it's interesting, though, guys. I think successful people have sometimes outlandish ways of staying successful.
To 100%. And the thing about so it's called Trading Secrets, but at the end of every episode, someone has to give us their trading secret. So that's where all that information came
Right.
from. And the one we already talked about, Mark Valori.
Yeah.
But this one was just stuck with me too. Is it's kind of a similar question to A-Rod. I was like, there's 3,700 or so billionaires in the world. How the hell are you one of them? Because he came from nothing. So how? And it was an interesting answer that I didn't expect. He calls it the 6th gear. He said, every day of my life, I'm just operating in the 6th gear. There's no stop, there's no rest, there's no nap. It's full speed ahead. When I make an investment, I had 33, I think the number might be a little off, but when he went all in on his company, when he's trying to get other investors, he put $372,000 into the company. The investor said, Mark, just round up to 400. Like, this is a weird number. He goes, no. I only have $372,000.
That's it.
If
Tapped
I go
out.
all in on this company, then I know I have to succeed. If I lose, I'm dead. I'm broke. And so, of course, that attracts investors. They're like, this guy's all in. I can go sleep at night, and this guy's still going to be working. And so his whole philosophy of how he made it to where he did, obviously he's intelligent, he's smart and everything else, but every day he wakes up in the 6th gear and he tells people, You can have off days. You can have self-care days. But, like, are you in your sixth gear right now? And if you're not, what does it take to get there?
The amount of work I'm going to do after this podcast is through the roof. Not leaving the studio until March. Unbelievable. You touched on Web3. We're about to go into my favorite topic on earth. Where are
Fucking
you,
Jeff, dude.
where are
Here
you
we
at?
go.
What are your thoughts on NFTs in the metaverse?
Okay, this is a deep. I mean, this could be a whole podcast.
Right. Just
I'll
your
give
general,
a very
general thoughts.
general thought. Is there's a lot when something new comes to the market. There's a lot of hype and there's a lot of money behind it. Everyone goes to the market. Everyone creates something to get a piece. I think that most of the pieces and the people that are coming to the market will fail. I think a lot of them will be like pump and dumps. There will be a lot of big money and big hype. They'll fall apart, and there will be nothing to it. I think there will be a select percentage of projects that turn out to be extremely successful and projects that make average middle-class individuals or lower-class individuals or even upper-class extremely, extremely rich. The one example I'll say, and then I'll be done, and I'll open this up to you guys because we can talk about this all day, and so can I.
Jeff will, don't worry.
I
open up to me.
think I already talked about Gary Vee, but what he did with the restaurant is a world-changing play, right? So,
Fly Fish Club?
right? As a banker, you can't underwrite a restaurant. I can't give a loan to a restaurant because they have no liquidity and their likelihood. Sorry, we got a restaurateur in here. The likelihood of restaurants failing is extremely high.
We get it.
Because of liquidity. So what he does, he creates NFTs. You get the NFT, as you guys already know, because you know the project. You get membership. The membership, now everyone wants a piece of it, creates demand. Therefore, the price goes up.
And you raise $10 million overnight.
Yeah, but every time it sells,
It's a
right,
royalty.
is
It's
the
a royalty,
royalty.
yeah.
So think about every membership in the world, like a country club membership. You have a country club membership, you leave. I've had one. You leave. Goodbye. See you later.
Yep.
The money's gone. Imagine you could resell it, what they would make. The utility behind the NFTs, there will be the Mona Lisas too, but the utility behind the NFTs will never go away. Ever. Now, this is also the guy who called LA Rams to beat Cincinnati Bengals. So trust your story.
Go back to 14 minutes, 15 minutes, see
But
what happened.
The utility in the smart contract feature, especially with the royalty feature, that'll change the entire world as we know it.
I could not agree more.
Yeah.
One, like I think now there's an investment in like when I really first saw the potential in the market was when everyone who's in branding and marketing, right? Trying to get someone to buy and rebuy, buy and rebuy over and over and over again, right? And as an influencer, right, or someone who has social media following, getting people to engage, stay engaged, re-engage over and over and over again is so difficult. And they like your success. They're not invested in your success,
Sure.
though, right? And now what an NFT does for the first time is I was in a couple Discords and someone would put out, I saw this one thing that happened. Hey guys, really, really engaged Discord. And this influencer came out and said, hey guys, I'm going to buy about 5 projects today. Go to, on his Twitter, comment what you think I should buy. And it wasn't that engaged on the tweet when I saw it. In the Discord, they say, hey guys, go to this tweet and rep our project.
Yep.
And I went to go check it an hour later, and there was thousands of comments
Crazy.
about this project. And I was like, I've never seen a community, someone who bought someone else's product, but are now involved so heavily on the popularity of it or the success of it, that they went and took their own time to go market you for you. It blew my mind.
It's a wild concept.
Blew my mind.
Wild. Now, and also, we talked about education. Let's think about this. Imagine instead of spending all this money on education and it's gone, you could potentially sell
your
your
education.
slot, and then the college will make a royalty. Or imagine you have a suite at the Vegas Knights. You spend, I don't know, $200,000-$300,000, maybe $500,000, maybe $1 million for a suite there. Who knows? And then you don't want it anymore. It's gone. What if there was I own this part? So then the Knights are making money, and every time that sells, it's increasing demand, increasing the price. It's going to change the entire world.
It's a simple supply and demand thing.
It's simple, yeah,
right?
And there's just more inflow. It's
And
more
if-
inflow of cash.
And if someone thinks that there is some resale value to them in the long run, I think a lot of liabilities will become assets because of NFTs.
For sure. I think so, too.
I think that's the biggest translation, where a lot of things that are just that people would view now as a benefit as a tax write-off,
Yep.
or hey, this is entertainment, I can use this for business.
Sure.
Where now it's more okay, I'm paying $50,000 for this,
Right.
X dollars, whatever. Cool, I'm gonna get great use out of it, but it may or may not stay 50,000. Maybe it goes up a little, maybe it goes down a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be able to sell it for something good, like a car,
Totally.
right?
Yep.
Even if it retains some value, at the end of the day, that's such a major win in comparison to what it is, what a lot of things are now.
100%.
And I think that will change the market drastically. Where exactly NFTs end up and how the metaverse works, that's the part I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how involved we're all going to be and how the metaverse is really going to work out. Mm-hmm. Something's going to happen with it. Everyone's saying it's a multi-trillion-dollar business.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we're only going to have friends in the metaverse in a few years. I have no idea. It's tough for me to wrap my brain around that.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll be there.
I mean,
maybe the goggles will be everywhere.
The goggles, walking around with the headsets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about this though. Like we have 5 people in this room. Maybe think about the dollars of how much we spent in time to just get here, or where like if you put like little digital numbers of your gas to get here and our flights to get here and our dinner tonight, and you put it combined. And we're not touching each other right now, not right? Just so everyone knows.
Jason, relax. one cocktail, all right?
Right,
One cocktail.
So the feel of touch is gone. You don't need it. Like imagine if there was a way to replicate exactly what we're doing right now through the metaverse. I could see you. We're talking the same. Audio picks up the same. I could see them, but we're just physically not there.
Sure.
And we spent $0 other than putting our goggles on or whatever, context, whatever the hell comes out.
Yeah, boom, a little hologram up here. We're good.
a
We
real
can film
thing.
it like we're actually here. I just want all the young kids to be safe and be mindful because there's a lot of projects like we talked about that are coming out that are complete rug
Bullshit.
pulls
Yep.
and bullshit.
Totally.
With, with actual the famous word of the fucking past 4 months, utility,
Yeah,
with no
yeah.
real utility behind
Sure.
it. And the ones that are building real community, like the Gary V's, who's done
Sure.
very successful, and
Yep.
he's always had a real community, are the ones that are going to be really successful and really thrive in this space. But there's so many that are just strictly marketing ploys, right?
100%.
You have a flaming, melting flamingo, and it's like,
yeah.
we have a plan to develop this in the future. And it's like, I just raised $5 million and the hopeful
Bye-bye.
that I build this,
Yeah.
but I don't have to.
Yeah.
I have your money.
The cool
Go
thing-
kick rocks.
Yeah, so this goes back to the peer-to-peer because the cool thing is in the beginning, people had these props, the flaming flamingo.
Yeah.
People are like, gotta buy it, build hype. Now, a lot of people got screwed because the value went down, so
Sure.
they've gotten really smart. Peer-to-peer, people get smart. They get burned and they get smart, so they'll now look at the credibility of who started it. So now what you're seeing in the NFT space is if you start a project, people are literally going to stalk everything you've ever done. They're going to know everything about you.
For real.
And like a year ago, or not even a year ago, 6 months ago, if someone started a project, most of the time they didn't even know who was on the project.
Sure.
So things are evolving to get rid of all the bullshit.
People are going to start doing the research like they do on a stock or
Exactly.
whatever else it might be
Yep.
too. What's out there?
Exactly.
All right, can you tell us about your new book? I mean, I know you have a
Yeah.
podcast. I don't know if you can write, but let's hear about it. Let's go.
So yeah, the book, it's called The Restart Roadmap. You go on Amazon right now. It's on pre-sale. You just type in The Restart Roadmap. Buy it if you guys don't mind supporting it. It's only $25, and give me a 5-star review. I appreciate it. If you don't like it, just DM me, but still give the 5-star review. But the subtitle is Restart and Rewire Your Career. A lot of the things we talked about here is like the idea is that if you find yourself in a place that you're starting to wonder why you're in that place, or you're waking up with Sunday scaries thinking about Monday, or you don't think you're compensated accordingly, or you don't think you have the network to get you to the right spot, right? Like we talked about with A-Rod and Mark Laurie, or even as simple as building a business in your community. If there's anything that has created gaps in your life, professionally, personally, or financially, this book creates an 8-step process to get you through that. And I talk a lot about the lessons that I learned.
Buying it right now.
Oh, you are the man.
There you
I
go.
Right now,
appreciate
pre-order
that.
right now.
Let's
And the
go.
hardcover, goddammit,
Well,
not
let's
the little
go.
bullshit one.
Let's
Right now,
go.
place your order right there.
It
Amazon
happened.
Prime, boom.
On air.
On
There it is,
now.
order placed. Boom,
I
thanks.
love
Let's
it.
do it.
Beautiful. I'm
I'm going to ask to get it signed when it comes in.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to send it to
yes.
you. You got to see
I appreciate
Or put the goggles
that,
on.
man.
You send-
Triple shipping. Triple shipping.
Oh, I love it, man. Thank you for that. And I spent so much time on this. I really put a lot of effort behind, how I can make an impact to people that were lost just like me. Because for 10 years, you told me where to go, I would go. I put on that suit. I lived my life through my title. I lived my life for what the company told me the mission was. And I totally lost myself. And it took falling on my face to get back. And so I get pretty open and real in this book. And it's if you find yourself at all lost in any direction, give it a shot, give it a read. It's $25. It'll take you, it's about 11 chapters. It'll take you a couple days to get through it, and I think it's impactful.
And it only
love
took
it,
me
man.
15 seconds to buy it. So boom.
Yeah,
That's my
you
guy
have, you
right
have no
there.
fucking excuse.
Shout out Jeff Bezos.
Boom.
How long have you been working on this?
So in March of 2020, I put something out when the Dow Jones was getting crushed. I put a quick little poll out there. Dow Jones is in every single headline, everywhere. S&P 500, Dow Jones. My audience, be real with me. Be vulnerable. Be honest. If I tell you right now, on the spot, microphone in front of your peers, can you tell me what the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 is? 91% of them said they had no idea.
Wow.
And so I started a company called Restart. That company was evolved because I was put in a position with my former employer. Either you eliminate all your social media and your podcasts or restart what you're doing in life because it's not going to be here because the tails were coming together. And so I restarted what I was doing with my professional life and then created a company called Restart.
I love
and
that.
so in March, when I was putting a lot of this content out, I got reached out to a literary agent. We did the deal with HarperCollins in June. We started writing in about January 2021. It takes a long fucking time to get a book out the doors and published.
Yeah.
And here we are, April, and it will be on shelves, but it's out pre-sale now.
That's sick, man. Congratulations,
Appreciate
dude.
it, guys. Thank you.
God.
I love that,
Appreciate
yeah.
it. It's been
You officially
fun.
sold one copy too, at least.
I
You
got
know what I
one.
mean?
You
There
got
go.
one.
You got
It doesn't
one.
matter what anyone
Let's
else
go.
says. You
Can
have
I get
fucking
two?
one.
Can I
Let's
get
go.
three?
We're
Come
all
on.
ordering today, everybody.
Everybody.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. By the way, I think you're I think you're absolutely onto something. I think a lot of people, when they hear terms a lot, just assume that they know and never go down the path of basic financial literacy or, like you said, trying to plan out things properly or go for the 10 singles instead of the home run every single time and set themselves up and look at themselves after 5 years and say, okay, wow, I really put myself in the right place. I'm assuming now that's where you're guiding people, yeah?
Exactly. It's more of like all this BS that's out there. It's consumer protection. So
Sure.
how do we educate people so they're in the know to know what the right place is and what the right moves are and who to trust and who not to trust. And the only way, like if you look at like where money's coming in and how people are making money, I don't make $1 off advising people's money.
Sure.
Right? I just educate, inspire, and from that I get ad deals and I have companies, and because of that I've been able to generate money. So I'm not making money. I'm not like an advisor or a hedge fund
Right.
that's getting funds from the people. I'm there to educate those, and as a result of that, it's created other business opportunities that allow me to monetize. So that's the idea. It's just be protected as a consumer, and behind every decision you make, understand why you're making it, and behind every move you make, understand what put you there, and before what you do every day and how you're doing it, understand why you're doing it.
I love that, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great cause.
Yeah, it's fun.
Feeling good, right?
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Ready for my second
I saw
drink.
you put a poll out for the cover photo too, you know?
I put a poll out there.
Okay, all right,
Oh,
good. I
yeah.
like it. People,
Poll out there.
you got to get people involved.
We
You
got
gotta
to
get people
engage
involved with the
it.
cover.
That's marketing
There you
right
go.
there. Make them feel
Swipe
part
up.
of it.
Swipe
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Press that double click.
All right, let's get some rapid fire reality TV and relationship questions.
Let's
you ready?
do it.
All
Let's
right.
go.
We'll wrap up the episode with some rapid fire
Okay,
questions.
cool.
all right?
I like it.
All
They're
right.
good too. They're good.
Biggest difference between being engaged and being single?
I'm not, being single. I was going to say when I was just dating, I was getting so much pressure to be, why aren't you engaged? Why aren't
Sure,
you engaged?
sure.
Being single and being engaged, the biggest difference is I'm probably much more productive with business because I'm not out and about so much partying.
Just partying. Really.
Good. Good answer.
By the way, should I put you on the spot right now? You
Don't do it. Don't fuck. Every episode I feel.
Yeah, right. Right, that's what it is. All right, what's the best kept secret about being on The Bachelor or Bachelorette?
Best kept secret is, I don't even know if it's a secret anymore, but the ability to monetize after.
There we
is
go,
just
there we
wild.
go.
That's
Yep,
the
we
real,
talked about it
like,
before the episode,
platform
yeah.
you get to build. Here it is. It's the access you get.
Right.
Because you're on the show, you'll get access that you never were given before. You'll be able to meet with people and do things you never were able to do before. It's access.
I mean, it makes sense. Get on reality TV, people.
What you do with access is up to you, though.
Yeah, there you go.
Because once
Exactly.
you get in the door, you got to make it happen.
By the way, the majority of people who have the access don't ever do anything with it.
Like 99%.
There's a lot that don't
Fall
do
flat on
shit.
their face.
Correct.
All right, what percentage of the guys on The Bachelorette are actually cool dudes?
Less than 10%.
Damn. Fuck. Really?
Oh, there's so
Damn, we
many.
talked about it. I was like, dude, these guys look like fucking dorks.
Yeah,
like, would
they're
you hang out with
dorks.
this guy outside of the show? Jeff and I are like, absolutely
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
not.
That's how I judge it. When I get a beer with
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
It's less than 10%.
Very simple as that. Cocktails or no cocktails, beers or
Definitely.
no beers, not happening.
Not happening.
All right, what's your most cringe TV moment that you look back on?
Cringe TV oh man, that's a good one. I think my most cringe, I'm gonna say just my whole cringe moment was right after I got off the show. I never did social media before, and I was trying to be something I wasn't. It was fucking embarrassing. Like I was taking it, like I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like a sexy model now, and I took a picture of me in a robe, like with a bottle of wine, and my buddies were like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, who are you? And so I think for a few months after the show, I definitely lost myself.
Sure.
And quickly had the right group of people to check me.
Nothing's worse than getting chirped by your homies.
Yeah, you need to get
everyone
a
needs their circle. And God, do they keep me in check? And thank God they did.
There's nothing like a screenshot in a group text to really humble you.
Bro, what the fuck is this?
You're like, dude, like, okay, enjoy this, but you're not a fucking model. Stop acting. Like, if you take a picture in your fucking trunks, I'm gonna knock you out.
Yeah,
you know?
get back, go backwards. I like that one. That's good. Who gets crazier DMs, you or Caitlin?
Caitlin for sure. So
Hold
most
it.
of our following, like 90% of our following is all females, and I think in general, you know, usually like my buddies beat me up. It's easier for like the boys to beat the boys up and girls to critique the girls, and that's one thing Caitlin it gets really frustrated with is like in a world where women are creating so much independence and empowerment, and they're creating so much impact in this world. Like she was like, we are supposed to be building each other up, not breaking each other down for like our looks and aging and things like that. And so she's so good at using those chirps as a way to like teach and inspire people. But man, I've seen like the tweets and the things about like, you know, physical appearance. And in my eyes, Caitlin is the most beautiful human in the world, and people could just be nasty. And why are you trolling people and taking people down when there's so many things in this world that are taking us down one at a time? Everyone's got their own issues, you know? So Caitlin gets a lot of nonsense.
I'm sure you get some good crazy DMs though still.
Oh, yeah, like the feet pictures, you know, people are like, hey, you know, how much for a feet picture? I'm like,
What-
trust me.
What is up with the feet
pictures,
pics,
dude?
dude?
I don't know.
The internet. I don't get it.
Did you see? Now it's gotten even worse. You know that girl who sold all that money by selling her farts?
farts
I
in
got
the jar,
to
yeah.
interview her. I was like,
Did you really?
oh, yeah.
Did she bring a jar with
Put her
her?
in the hot seat. No, she didn't bring the jar, but I learned all about the jar. There's a note. There's flowers. She actually
much money did she make?
Wait, this is crazy. She went to the hospital because she was like eating too much protein to generate farts
Inducing
for her
farts?
business. So she had GI issues. Swear to God.
I would just get some random fake fart
make it
spray and just put it in a jar.
Yeah, they know they're paying too much money, dude. They
apparently,
understand.
Like, that's what I
Like
said.
fart
I
fanatics.
go, don't you think they just want like a note from you, or you think they really want to? She's like, no. Fart fetish is a thing.
They want to open that jar and get that whiff immediately.
Guys,
What a world. huh?
First lesson of business. There's a market for everything.
Everything.
There's a market for
She
everything.
made like $200,000 off those fart jars.
Stop the madness.
Yeah.
What?
Not to mention, she just got clout forever.
Yeah, she got PR value worth like $5 million.
Clout forever.
Yeah.
Followers forever. Now
Nuts.
she's got to figure out
We're talking
what to
about
do with
it.
it.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Right. We're talking again. All right. Last one. Who's the boss of the house? You or Caitlin?
It depends what department.
Okay.
Okay.
If we're talking like any type of interior design, I could say everything and I will get completely vetoed. If we're talking like finance and business, I run the show for the house. If we're talking about what's going to be for dinner, I'm going to lose that battle. So we each have our like it's a very solid 50-50 relationship with what she runs and owns. She crushes what I run and own. I crush. We have different skill sets, different talents, and it comes together nicely.
Where's the wedding happening?
The wedding is 100% going to happen in Nashville.
Not
when
Vegas.
it's going to
Okay.
happen
Love
is the
that.
question. I got to get her back in town so we can go check out venues.
All right, make it happen.
She's on Dance with the Stars tour now.
Yeah,
so
you know, busy.
she's killing it.
My man,
Go
thank
Kate.
you for coming on the show.
Yes.
We appreciate it. Guys, go buy the book. Go listen to the podcast, Trading Secrets. Congratulations on everything, my man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Crushing it.
Absolutely. As always, at the Residency Pod, hit us up. We'll see you next week.
Later.